Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. I'm Titch92. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, before we get into the video, I just wanted to apologise quickly for the lack of uploads. I'm really sorry, but I haven't been well. I've been struggling with really bad exhaustion and insomnia. And then on top of that, I ended up having to get checked out at hospital because it was suspected that I had preeclampsia. But I don't, so all's good, and I just took some time to rest and what have you, but I'm back now, so it's all good. Now, today's video is going to kick off a series called Spooky Sundays, where we talk about anything paranormal, and obviously these will be a weekly thing on a Sunday, but don't panic, today's video is more on the light-hearted side, so go and grab some snacks, get comfy, and let's begin. So, today's video, I am bringing you 7 famous ghost stories that actually turned out to be hoaxes. So, at number 1, we have the H family. In 1921, a woman only known as Mrs. H began seeing a doctor not long after her and her family moved into their family home. Due to strange symptoms, Mrs. H complained her family began feeling weak, hearing footsteps, having headaches, and even seeing apparitions. At one point, her husband woke in the middle of the night and stated he was certain someone was strangling him. At first, the assumption was made that the house was haunted, until they found out that a broken furnace was releasing carbon monoxide into the home. Since then, numerous ghost sightings have been linked to carbon monoxide poisoning. Number 2 is the Wem Ghost photo. In 1955 in Shropshire, England, there was a fire at the Wem Town Hall. As the fire raged, a resident by the name of Tony O'Reilly, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce that, but I'm not Irish, so bear with me, took a photo that would become infamous. A little girl called Jane Churn, who was the one that accidentally set fire to the town in 1677, is said to be the image in the photo. Tony swore the photo was not doctored, and a photography expert agreed. However, a Shropshire resident may have proven otherwise. He found a postcard from 1922 with a strikingly similar young girl in it, leading to the theory that Tony did in fact doctor the photo. Number 3. The San Antonio Legend. A popular San Antonio legend is that in 1938, a bus full of children stalled on the train tracks and was soon hit by a train, killing all the children inside. Since then, people say if you park your car on the ghost tracks and put it into neutral, the ghosts of the children will push your car off the tracks to safety. To prove the skeptics wrong, some people even put baby powder on their cars and use the fingerprints as proof the children were there. Unfortunately, there is a logical explanation. There is a slight incline on the tracks, which causes your car to roll, and the fingerprints that appear on the car are nothing more than your own. On top of this, it turns out that this legend is actually based on something that happened in Salt Lake City, Utah. Number 4. The Anson Light. In Anson, Texas, there was a mysterious light that would appear at a particular spot on a highway each night. The legend is said to go like this. A grieving mother disappeared as she was searching for her son who had recently disappeared. The light from her lantern remained to this day, becoming known as Anson Light. However, this was soon debunked by a group of college students and their iPhones, who figured out that the light was actually headlights of cars coming from another nearby highway. At number 5, we have the Coventry University Ghost. On the campus of Coventry University in England, there is a 14th century cellar, home to a ghost, or that's what people thought. Those who visited the cellar reported paranormal experiences, with some saying that they had even seen a woman. Even a self-proclaimed witch couldn't stand to be down there for more than a few moments. The story was eventually debunked by a lecturer, at the school who also happened to be a part-time ghost hunter. He discovered something that would go on to be called the fear frequency, in which infrasound levels are measured, and when there are high frequencies it can cause people to see optical illusions as well as feel things like chills and anxiousness, amongst other things. And it turns out that the levels in the Coventry University cellar fall into the range where the effects would be expected. Number 6. The Hydesville Hauntings. Two sisters, Maggie and Kate Fox, were initially responsible for an elaborate hoax that began in their Hydesville home in New York. According to a Smithsonian magazine, the girls told a neighbor about hearing sounds in the house that responded to their words, indicating there may be a ghostly presence. After this, their mum sent them to live with their older sister, Leah, in Rochester, and that's when the story really took off and all three sisters were involved. Leah and her sisters went on tour displaying their apparent medium capabilities to pretty much anyone who would listen. They often held seances and shared messages from the spirits. However, when a rift between the sisters occurred, Maggie then spoke up and said how everything had been a hoax, and she even went on to do a live demonstration of how they pulled the stunts off in the first place. Years later, a skeleton was found in the walls of their childhood home, making some people question if there was actually in fact any truth to the spirits. But this didn't last long, as it turns out that the so-called skeleton was really just an assortment of random bones, some of which belonged to a chicken. And finally, we reach number 7, and this is probably one of the most famous cases ever heard. This is the Amityville house. The Amityville Horror is one of America's most famous ghost stories that began in an unassuming house in Amityville, New York in 1974. If you've seen the movie based on the events, then you know the story. If not, here is a quick breakdown. So, a family moves into a house that has recently had horrific murders in. They begin hearing voices, seeing ghosts, and experiencing all sorts of paranormal activity. Then, they ultimately flee in terror. Part of this story is true, but we may never know exactly how much. The previous homeowner did actually kill his entire family. His name was Ronnie Defoe. He had stated in his trial that voices in the house made him do it. George and Katie Lute moved in, and whether or not they did experience anything paranormal, one thing is for certain. They did work very closely with Defoe's attorney. Within this time, they either fabricated the hauntings or exaggerated the hauntings, but either way, the Lutes managed to secure a book and a film out of it. The attorney had hoped that this would give more credit to his client's case and get a not guilty plea. However, this didn't work, and Defoe was sentenced to life in prison where he still resides. He later admitted to lying about the voices, and no other tenants have reported anything spooky or sinister since. So there you have it, guys. That was 7 most famous ghost stories that turned out to be hoaxes. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. And until next time, be safe, and I'm sending all my love and positivity your way. Goodbye.